Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. Today, I want us to answer the question, can the courts save the Deputy President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua? If you are interested in that subject, stay tuned. And if you're watching for the first time, I urge you to take a moment, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss subsequent videos. And of course, if you are already subscribed, I really thank you for standing with this channel. Otherwise, let us move right into the subject of the day. You have seen, even before the impeachment at the National Assembly, the Deputy President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, made it clear that he had faith in the judiciary. And as of today, by the time of recording this video, the Deputy President has made 24 applications, all in an attempt to ensure that Parliament does not prosecute the impeachment. He has gone to court to stop Senate from discussing his impeachment. But at the same time, if you listen to his speech yesterday, he was like saying he will not get justice at the National Assembly, neither will he get any at the Senate. And so his only hope is at the Supreme Court, is at the court, the judiciary. He even praised the judges as honorable people, wonderful souls, etc. That disparate times call for disparate action. And so he is now desperate. He needs something that is going to save him from being impeached. And he believes that he is going to get this particular reprieve in the court. The question is, can the court save him? And I want to say yes or no. The courts are based on the previous rulings. Because remember, the issue of impeachment is not reaching the court for the first time. This is something that has been litigated because most of the time, Senate has been involved in impeaching governors or saving them. Even today, the governor for Kericho had his time at Senate, and he has been saved. The Senate has refused to impeach him because a process was not followed at the Assembly. The Assembly did not meet the requisite two-thirds to impeach the governor for Kericho. And so he's been saved. I was saying that in most cases, those who are impeached by Senate usually go to court. And the reason as to why some of them have been successful, to explain the yes part, the reason as to why some of them have been successful is because they have gone to court to question the legality of the process. So you can go to court to question the legality of the process that removed you from office. Let's say there is need for public participation and it was never done, like in the case of Wambora. So you would just go to court and say there was no public participation, even though it is something that is required to be part of the process. And so in that case, if the process is flawed, then the courts argue that the outcome is also flawed. The deputy president could go to court if he believed that the process was not constitutional. If there is something that the National Assembly was supposed to do in terms of the processes of impeachment, that he believes that the National Assembly skipped. So that he can use. He can go to court and he can say, based on this, that is after the Senate has done its job. So he can go to court after the Senate, let's say, has impeached him. He can go to court and say, the National Assembly was supposed to do 1, 2, 3 as required by the law, and they did not do it. Or the Senate was supposed to do 1, 2, 3 as required by the law, but they did not do it. In that case, he would be like he was removed from office through an illegal process. The process that removed him from office would have not followed the law. So that is the yes part. The no part, because I said it's a yes and no, the no part is you can't go to court to challenge the charges. So you can't go to court to challenge the charges. You can't go and say, of the 11 grounds on which I was removed, or on the 10 grounds on which I was removed, or the one ground that the Senate confirmed and I was impeached, I believe that I'm innocent. That is not for the court. The impeachment of the deputy president or of any other politician is a political process. It is not a legal process. And so that is why Senate will be acting like a jury. The Senate will sit, will listen, and they will make their decision. And that decision by Senate, if they didn't skip any step that is required by law, it will be final. So the DP cannot go, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua can't go to court and say that, you see, they said that I did this and I'm persuaded I'm innocent of this. That is not the work of the court. The court cannot come and start doing a new trial on the basis of the charges. So you can't go to court to challenge the charges on the charges that got you out of office. That is the work of Parliament. It ends with Parliament. But you can go to court to challenge the process. So if if Parliament skipped a particular process and you're persuaded you can prove they skipped that, that is an avenue for you to go to court. And then the court now will say, based on this, the process was wrong, the outcome has to be wrong. But if the process was okay, if they followed the law, if National Assembly followed the law, did what is required by the acts or by the Constitution, met the two-third the two-third requirement, did public participation, gave the Deputy President a chance to defend himself. If that happened according to the law, then the Deputy President has no case. He would go to court. The judges will dismiss him. And why am I saying the judges will dismiss him if he just goes to court to talk about the charges? Because the court already, as early as 2013, had already made their position. The Supreme Court had already made their position known on this matter. The Supreme Court said that it cannot supervise Parliament. That is one thing they made very clear, that the court, the judiciary, cannot supervise the legislature. It can't be that anything that the legislature does is being supervised or dictating for the legislature what to do. And Parliament also, at the Senate, had also made this ruling as early as 2019. They had made the ruling that any injunction that is done by the court to stop Parliament from doing what their constitutional role is will be ignored. It means it doesn't have any value. It doesn't hold any water. Lady Justice Martha Koome has already formed a bench as of now to listen to the Deputy President application to stop Senate from going ahead to discuss his impeachment. If he has grounds that that the process that was done in the National Assembly was not constitutional, I think that is what his argument is, that whatever was done in the National Assembly did not meet the thresholds of the Constitution, then the judges are going to make their decision. However, as you know, the Senate had already made their pronouncement on this, and the Supreme Court had already made their pronouncement on this, that they are not going to supervise Parliament, and that Senate had already made it clear that no injunction can stop them from doing the work that is constitutional for them. And impeachment is the work of the Senate. Listening to the charges and doing a trial where the DP will bring witnesses and the National Assembly will bring witnesses is something that they have said cannot be injuncted by the court. The court cannot decide that that is not going to happen. They will do their work whether these judges rule against what they are supposed to do or not. And it appears the DP already knows that, and that is why his lawyers have actually submitted their evidence to the clerk of the Senate. As of now, they have done that because they know that even if the courts were to rule in their favor, Senate will proceed with the impeachment because Senate had already pronounced themselves on this issue that they cannot be dictated to. It's all about separation of power. It has to be real. The judiciary cannot decide that it is now a more important arm of government than the legislature, or that the legislature decides that they are now more important than the executive. It has to be checks and balances, but not supervision. It can't be that when the Senate wants to do what is described very well in the Constitution, the court comes and says no. Because if we go that route, then nobody will be impeached. There are no leader will ever get that impeachment will die. Because what happens is somebody will hear that the MCS wants to impeach them, they will go to court. We have a lot of judges who are overzealous and some are activist judges. They will have no problem giving you the conservatory orders that you need, or even injunct the entire process, or even declare it unconstitutional. It will be a mess, because it means you can never hold leaders accountable. If you try, they use the judiciary to gag you. And so that will not happen. In my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the only time the judiciary is going to save the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, is if Rigathi Gachagua can go to the court and prove that there is a process that was skipped by either National Assembly or Senate. If he doesn't have that, if he goes to court with the issues of I don't think I'm guilty of the charges that they used to impeach me, then that will be beyond the court's jurisdiction. Actually, he would be told that, in my opinion. He will be told the court does not discuss that, because that is now something else. You are going to court to say I'm innocent, meaning it's a different trial. And in that trial, if the court finds you guilty, then the court will now have to make a judgment. Either you go and rot in jail, or if they don't find you guilty, you are a free person. But note that you are not impeached. If they vote to save Rigathi Gachagua, the impeachment ends there. The entire process ends there. If they vote to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, he can only go to court, and I repeat this, he can only go to court if he wants to challenge the process, not going to challenge the charges. If he challenges the charges, he will still go home. Sonko tried to do that, it didn't work. Waititu tried to do that, it never worked. If you are challenging the process, okay. If you are challenging the charges, it doesn't work. Otherwise, if you found this video informative, don't forget to like this video and share it with friends. And also, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to this channel so that you don't miss the next video.